Excitement, I think that's the one word that's really very true when you think about what's been happening at Mahindra and Mahindra of late. There has been a slew of products and also a lot that's been happening in terms of how those products are addressing what's been a tough automotive market. Let's talk about the latest product, which is the XUV 300, adding to the XUV lineup with Dr. Pawan Goenka, who is the man of the moment. Pawan, always great, and I can see your tie matches the car, so it's...
Yeah. White and red. Both.
Yeah, it's a two-tone, which is the buzzword when it comes to this car. But congratulations, I know this launch is very significant for the company in more ways than what typically would be perceived. Perhaps more so on the side of what we don't see. Do you agree that this is a very significant moment for the company?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly it is. This whole year we had said we were going to be launching 3 new platforms, which we have done in the third of the 3. And in terms of what it means in volume, clearly this is the biggest volume segment of the 3 segments that we have launched in. And more than volume, I think it also is a feeling of Mahindra is back.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying Mahindra is back is that there was a lot of concern expressed over the last 3-4 years about us losing market share in UVs.
Yeah.
And even though we have been defending it, saying that when we go to our traditional frame-based vehicle, we have not lost market share. What we have not been able to do yet is launch winners in the segment of volume for the monocoque vehicle, the crossovers. Yeah. And that's what this is. And this is coming into a sub-segment that is 50% of the UV volume, and we were out of 50%. So when you're out of 50%, then obviously you cannot have market share. So therefore it becomes very important for us.
Now, when you talk about that, this massive change that has also obviously happened in the market space, where you're saying more than 50% of buyers are now focusing on this. I mean, they obviously don't categorize it as monocoque, but you know, you've experimented with the Quanto, you had the KUV as well. What were the learnings from that allowed this to be a stronger product?
So that's another change that is very subtle but very important for Mahindra, and I don't know how many of the viewers would see that change. But the 3 launches that we have done this year, Marazzo, Alturas and this one, the way the product has been developed is very different from anything that we've done in the past. What we've done now is fully leverage that global network that we have at our disposal for doing these products, whether it's Pininfarina for design and some engineering, whether it is MNATC for engineering, whether it is SsangYong for design, engineering and platform. All of that we have been able to fully leverage in these 3 products. MRV, where we have the nerve center for engineering, has led the product development, but fully leveraging these networks that we have. And what that has allowed us to do is, in some sense, get the best of both worlds, or best of 3 worlds or 4 worlds. Some Italianness, some Koreanness, some Americanness, and a lot of Indianness. And that's what I think makes this product unique. Because what is under the skin, the platform, which people don't see, is tried, tested, proven Korean technology. What you see is designed absolutely specifically for Indian consumer, after getting market feedback on what do Indian consumers value and what do they want to see in the new car. And that's what we've tried to do in this. And I think we probably have taken next step in terms of how we do a product planning, which is where it all starts, and in terms of how we do a product development, and which is taking advantage of all of this. And that's the reason I feel very good that these 3 products have transitioned us, not just in terms of product launch, but how we are doing our product development.
I of course have Italianness in the name Marazzo, so I'll never forget that moment at the launch. But I remember saying this when the Marazzo launched, saying that this is that car which now defines a new direction that Mahindra has taken a very sharp turn towards. Not everybody agreed with me at the time, you know, on our side of the fence, but I think seeing the response to that car kind of indicates that position as well. I mean, people are responding differently to that product than they did to other products from Mahindra. Do you think so?
See, something else that we have done, we have taken a call in all these 3 products that we are not going to make bare bone products. Okay, even at the entry level, we don't want consumers to feel that all they're getting are 2 seats, a steering and 4 wheels. And therefore, if you look at this product, Marazzo, Alturas, all 3, our base is not base at all. Safety, something that you are very passionate about personally. I think we have taken a leap forward in safety.
And a lead also, I would add.
I'm sorry?
Also a lead.
Yes, I'm
Not everybody is doing that.
Ones that I had talked to several years ago when I said about having airbags in our entry level. And from there, the kind of thing that we've put in on all of these vehicles, I think has taken us forward. And I'm very happy to see that there is general perception now that Indian OEMs are certainly not behind and perhaps ahead of multinationals' products in India. And that makes me feel very good. And this is perhaps an extreme example of what we have done for safety. Up to 7 airbags in a subcompact SUV, I don't think anybody has it. Disc brakes on the rear, I don't think anybody has it. ABS, of course, is common now across the board. EBD, ESP, in this sort of price point is something, 3-point seat belt, even in the middle seat, the 3 seats. All of that, I think, just says the focus that we put on safety is very high. And I'm very encouraged to see that the Indian consumer now is very sensitive to safety and willing to pay for safety features.
I understand that this comes also from a change of philosophy within the company, which happened, of course, a while back, and you're seeing the fruits of it now, or we are at least publicly. But explain to our viewers how difficult sometimes it is to have that sort of a strong, let's say, belief. Because when we talk about not doing a base version on a car like the Alturas, it straight away makes sense, but it becomes tougher in the context of this price point. So making that change, I don't want you to pinpoint when it happened, but was that a tough decision?
It is a tough decision from the viewpoint that while consumers are happy to see that my base is more than a base, they are reluctant to pay. They
still want that low sticker price.
They still want to pay base to base. And that makes it a little hard for us, frankly, because it does put strain on us. But I think the fact that we have been able to use our network of engineering resources in US, in Korea, in Italy and India helps us in that to some extent, because we are able to bring, somebody asked me yesterday, some visitor, that you did Marazzo in US, how did you manage cost? And I told that person is that we didn't let them decide the cost. The cost was decided right here.
It had to be done in that.
The sourcing was done by our people here. The price negotiation was done by our people here. The product planning was done by people here. And therefore we are getting the engineering expertise of these countries without the cost base of these countries. Clearly the product development becomes more expensive because the salaries are higher, the prototypes cost more, but that's a one-time cost. And I think it's good to spend that one-time cost, but control what goes into every vehicle in terms of cost. So I think we managed a pretty good mix. Time will tell. You will see the reaction that we get. The time will tell. But I think consumers should value the fact that we are making vehicles that by no means are second class or inferior or behind times with anybody else who is making vehicles in India. And very happy to see that as an Indian OEM.
Oh yeah, and I'm telling you, a lot of people are. It's not just you within the company. I think even outside we get that feedback. The fact that it's coming from an Indian company. Going back to what you said at the start about how these 3 products now kind of define where you are going as a company, where you've also come, where you've arrived as a company. What does it do to the rest of the portfolio? Because a lot of your volume is still coming from there. We do have all sorts of deadlines coming our way as well in terms of the fuel norms changing and of course safety, etc. So in terms of their life cycle, in terms of their upgrades, nameplates, I know you won't give me too many specifics, but generally, since that's still a larger part of your portfolio compared to these 3, what happens with them?
So the way I see it is that the current portfolio has 3 products that have created their own space. The Bolero, the Scorpio and the XV500. These 3 products have their own life and they live that life. And anything else that we do does not impact those products. There is no doubt the products, platforms have been there for some time, 8 years for XUV, 18 years for Scorpio, 20 years for Bolero. But they're still high selling models for us. That doesn't mean that we can just relax and say nothing is to be done. We will have to do, we have done many refreshes over the years, many refreshes. Now the time has come for us to take a look at, there's a need for us to change the platform and bring more of current day features into those platforms. But I don't see a slowdown in demand because these are tried, tested, loved products, and I'm glad that's the case. But we will definitely be looking at these products in our next cycle because now we were busy up to now in the last 3 or 4 years launches that we have done, filling the gaps in our total UV offering. Now we filled all the gaps. There's nothing left for us to do in terms of having a product in every possible sub-segment of the UV segment. Right? Now we are not going to be filling the gap, and therefore we are going to be changing
upgrading.
And so the cycle of changing products will start now. Whether it is Thar, Scorpio, XUV, whichever product you have, Bolero, over time. It's not happening tomorrow, but over time that will happen. And we will now be getting into that sort of routine. Of course, the next 12 months is fully focused on BS6. And that's what I think everybody in the auto industry in India will be doing that. And our engineers are going to be fully focused on getting BS6 out.
So without naming specific models, though you can, are there certain models that won't make it past BS6?
Nothing that is high volume will be stopped. So anything that's selling, let's say, more than 1,000 today,
you'll have to do a BS6 version.
I will definitely continue. We have everything in place for those to happen. There may be 2 or 3 models which are small selling models where we decided it's not worth spending the money for BS6, and the models may become too expensive post that, and therefore we will be phasing those out. But this will not have any impact on our overall volume because that is small volume products.
When you say you filled the gaps with these cars, what about the smaller segment? Because you've had, you currently have the KUV, you have the TUV, and now you have this all sub 4 meter. Then of course you also have the TUV plus, but 300 plus. But what I'm asking is that would you see a consolidation, you think, that's required to happen, or will the consumer still identify 3 different offerings as 3 different offerings?
So it's very interesting that you ask, and I will tell you what I can. So the KUV segment and actually 300 segment are very different. The KUV is what I might call subcompact for lack of better word. This is a compact. So 3.6 meter and 4 meter, fairly significant difference. Therefore, there are 2 different products, and I don't think that we will.
And they have their own space.
Consolidate. And they have different price positioning. One is a 6 lakh product, other is higher pricing. The TUV and XUV 300, even though same length, there is nothing common about it. A customer who is buying XUV 300 will never be looking at TUV 300 and vice versa. The only thing common is they both have 300. Okay. So therefore I don't think we need to do anything. And Bolero is the darling of the public. So how can we ever think about consolidating Bolero? So what has emerged over time, the TUV 300 has become more of a semi-urban product. Though the volume is nowhere near Bolero. Bolero continues to be the darling of rural India and continues to sell very well. And rural India has not topped it TUV 300 much. And the urban and semi-urban India has not looked at Bolero much. So even though the products are catering to the same uses, but somehow they have evolved into 2 different products. And therefore for us to consolidate that will probably not be right. So we will probably be continuing with 4 products in the sub-4.
Let me play devil's advocate then. If you had done the 300 plus, the TUV 300 plus, and named it Bolero, could that have changed things? Because that name is what really drives.
Yes, if we had the courage to not continue with Bolero. Because you cannot have a Bolero looking like the Bolero is, and a TUV looking like what TUV is, and call it Bolero. Then it will be seen like something fake. So that option was not available. I don't know what would have happened if we had done it, but the option was not.
Yeah, it's the realm of conjecture. One last area that I, of course, have to talk to you about is the EV space. I remember saying this with you about safety maybe a couple of years ago, saying, the champagne has been uncorked, you cannot put the genie back in the bottle, etc. And here we are. We are proving that today. The same is it true about EVs, you think? Because for years now we've talked about it. For years we've complained about the lack of momentum in terms of institutionally doing anything or government-wise. Today, what do you think?
See, I'm encouraged with what's happening, but so far the result on the ground is not there. Now, why is it not there? Even today, other than one company that has just launched a product to public, there is no other four-wheeler product in the market other than Mahindra.
Yeah.
A lot of companies are talking about it.
This year it should change.
But nobody has yet launched. They're all kind of perhaps waiting to see where the EV revolution goes and whether there's a consistent policy that the government of India puts up. The support, desire, aspiration of government of India are very high. There is not a single department, who matters, who does not want to see EVs take off. Are we doing enough to make it happen? I'm not saying government.
Yeah.
Are we doing enough to make it happen? I don't think so. I think we need to do it. And Mahindra has always taken this as their crusade to see how we can help in the EV movement. We continue with that. We have not, if you look at from viewpoint, can justify the kind of investment that we are making in EV, answer perhaps is no. Okay, because we don't have volumes here. But then we don't have the products that cater to many different segments and sub-segments. Right? So when we bring out this product in EV space, I think that's going to create a new excitement. It will be 380 volts, it will go 200 kilometer plus, maybe even we'll have an option with 350, 400 kilometer maybe. So that will create a lot of excitement at a price point. When we bring out the eKUV later this year,
that's going to be even more exciting in a sense.
That will again create excitement, and hopefully we can price it where customers can justify spending that kind of money for electric vehicle. That will create excitement. When we see the use of e-Barito in fleet, and it's taking off slowly, bit by bit, I think the fleet will start seeing the virtue of using electric vehicle. And once the fleet starts seeing virtue, and once more and more products come
the pull will come.
Then I think there will be a pull create. And the last one is the three-wheeler.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what about the trio?
Three-wheeler is probably something that we had not focused on enough as Mahindra and as the country. But now suddenly everybody is realizing three-wheeler is where the future is for electric vehicle, and the kind of response that we are getting for the three-wheeler that we have launched is amazing in terms of numbers people are talking. 2,000, 5,000, 1,000, 3,000. If all of that happens, I don't think there's enough capacity in the country to fulfill that requirement. So I think three-wheelers will probably define the takeoff of electric vehicles in India. Personal vehicles like this, when they come, will follow. And the fleet will take some time to start seeing the commercial equation work. But we are not too far. I just hope that the Farm 2 policy comes out in time. If it doesn't come out, Farm 1 continues the way it is. We are not looking for more than what is being currently offered. The GST rate, what it is today is fine. Farm the way it is today is fine. Just the focus on infrastructure would help. Intent is there, result is not there. So I remain optimistic about that.
No, which is very encouraging. And of course, when it comes to the personal vehicle space, since yes, price will play such a big role in terms of just convincing people for eKUV or eXUV 300 or 300E, I don't know what you're going to call it, but
eXUV 300 doesn't sound.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right. For that space, you think as a company you would necessarily need to take a little bit of a financial hit, almost offer an incentive yourself to make the price attractive? Just to get the early adopters in.
That's what we are doing with e-Barito also. We will have to do that, and unfortunately or fortunately, pioneers in anything have to take a bit of a hit when you start. The only hope is that when it takes off, somebody will remember who the pioneers were.
No, I think you kind of got that status. A lot of people identify that. So last question, Pawan, the expectation for this car, how many can you make? What is the kind, Even if you don't want to give me a number.
Okay, so
What does it mean?
See, look, we are coming into a segment where the market leader is selling 13,000. Right? The total segment size is about 40,000 right now. If I say 15% will be a good target for a newcomer to look at, about 5,000, 6,000 vehicles would be a good sort of target. Our volume capacity right now is 5,000. We have already kicked off work to go higher if the demand is there, which will take us 4 to 6 months to get there. So we can go higher, but right now we are capped at about 5,000 capacity, which will be, like I said, about 12% market share in the segment. Clearly, for a challenger to come into a segment, as we have learned from past, you cannot just do an incremental improvement over existing leaders. You have to do something that the customer sees a clear, I have to have it kind of thing. And I hope that when customers get into this product, what I call the first moment of truth, you say it, what I call the second moment of truth, when you turn the key, now you don't turn the key, you press a button. And when I see a third moment of truth after 2, 3, 4 months of ownership, I think all of those should help the customer to conclude or convince the customer to conclude that this is not a me-too product. Yes, it's 3,995, but it's not a me-too product. There's a lot more to offer. Talk about performance. 200 Newton meter torque in petrol engine.
And the fact that you have a petrol engine.
You know very well that there's no 200 Newton meter torque in sub 4 meter. But anyway, 300 Newton meter torque for a sub 4 meter in diesel. Again, unheard of. So that's the kind of thing that we are hoping will convince the customer that this is not a me-too product and give us decent mileage.
You're doing petrol and diesel. You've said that you'll have an automatic soon enough. Do you think you'll expand the segment, or will you eat into somebody else's share?
I think every successful launch expands the segment. Now, question always is, where does the volume come from?
Yeah, what else is it eating into?
Expands the segment. So I would hope that the volume that we get, not all of it will come because somebody else's volume is going down. Some of it will be volume that just wasn't there, and we brought the volume into the industry, and some of it will be taken from others, and some of it will be taken from ourselves. So it will be a combination, but I hope that bulk of it is new volume, because I would like to see the industry grow. The industry itself has been struggling the last 3-4 months, and if you only take from this pocket to that pocket, you're still not there. So I would hope that this product will help the industry.
I'll be candid and end this by saying we love those headlines which say, so many bookings now for this car, or so much waiting period, because it shows the excitement that comes into the market space, not just for your showroom.
I think the industry needs some excitement.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing it's nice, it's red hot, it's ready to scorch roads and things like that. So let's give it all that positive energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, and all the very best with this and everything else we've spoken about.
Okay.
Good to see you.
All right.